Oh, well, it's early in the morning, grab a cup and tune on in. Robert and Dave got that southern charm, let the laughter begin. From the morning funny to MAGA minute, ain't no better way to start your day the southern way, with a little joke and pray. We're just southern folks talking southern things, front porch swinging where the church bells rang. From mama said to hum day news, we keep it real with down home views. Sunday morning in the Word, get that gospel flow. Prayer time calls, so let's let our troubles go. Come Monday night, mama said, is bringing the truth. And when it's night talk with Dave, man, you know it's getting loose. We're just southern folks talking southern things, stories and sports where the good times hang. From SFP News to I Remember That, we tell it like it is, and that's a fact. Got our veteran of the week, gotta show our pride. Pets of the week, bringing love worldwide. Talking paranormal, digging true crime. Southern fried stories all the dang time. So pull up a chair, y'all, and stay a while. Ain't nothing like that southern style. From the morning show to the soundstage band, it's SFP Live, won't you give them a hand? So pull up a chair, y'all, and stay a while. Ain't nothing like that southern style. From the morning show to the soundstage band, it's SFP Live, won't you give them a hand?
And good evening. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the long intro. I was having a little technical difficulty and still trying something new that just was released today. So for those of you that might try to access Rumble Studio, I don't know what it is. They have a new feature that we can stream right into the studio. Everything hooked up right, but as things go, not working. It's okay. We will put back up and punt tonight, and it was a test, but the screen is not. Everything seems to be fine. I am streaming live on Southern Fried Podcast, as Barry has came in there and said hello. And one of them, anyway. I saw you a while ago. I don't know where I saw you, but I saw you. So anyway, it's good to be here. It's good to be back. Lots going on. We're going to get into the MAGA report and hammer away. And for this hour, I cannot extend tonight. I have to go back to work for a meeting, so I must be off in time. But we are apologizing for. We just had so much going on. Don't like to make excuses, but with the life situation, I was sick. Rob was sick. My voice is still not good. Rob called me early today. He sounded horrible. He said, I can't go. So Cornbread Nation is a two-man show. And so we will not replay. We will wait till next week. We just won't have one this week. There is no time left in this week to do it for all the other shows. And Rob doesn't record on weekends. Very, very rarely. So we'll just do it next week. It's okay. Pray for us to get better. But the intent is that the MAGA report will be nightly, Monday through Friday. We had a couple of hiccups, but it's okay. We'll get back on track. We've missed very few shows. In my cup tonight is a very special coffee. I am testing the blends that will be the Southern Fried Cornbread Nation coffee. No, we don't have them named. We have names for them. We haven't named these blends yet. But this will be the morning blend. We will have a name for that. It is so smooth. So glad to have that. But hello, Barry. Hope you've had a good day. Talked to Jerry Barrett today. He was calling to check on my wife. Thank you, sir. And he just got out of the hospital. He's got so much going on. That's the kind of brother he is, and I am so grateful. On the wife's, yeah, it's a mess. I know so many people. I know a lady who's been dealing with upper respiratory for, she said, weeks, and right now it's just, she's asking for prayer. So we battle, and unfortunately, it is the worst thing for a podcaster. And we don't can stuff anymore. We pretty much go live. Every once in a while, we will record a show, but that's rare. The Jeb and Bubba show is recorded, but it's released live. But that's just because of the logistics of doing all that. But we go live, so if our voice sounds rough, we try not to miss a program. So we're on here. We're just not doing the program. We've missed a couple. I've missed a couple. Rob's missing one, so we'll get through. Anyway, on the wife's front, she finally got to the rehab center today. I had enough. I've talked to all sorts of different people. I don't know the straight of it, but the insurance company said they weren't holding me up, but 2 other places said they were. So I don't know. What I do know is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Absolutely, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. And so I went and got busy with that and said, I want something done today. I want my wife moved. She's laying in a hospital bed, getting very little rehab. I got a meeting to go to. When I come out of that meeting, I want to have an answer. Or I'm coming to see somebody. My wife does not deserve this. She wants to come home. She can't come home till she gets the rehab. Went to the meeting. Before I come out of the meeting, I already had a phone call from one case manager when she would be moving. I had a text from my wife saying I am moving at 1 o'clock. And I had a phone call right after the meeting, not too long after, from the rehab place, making sure that I had been communicated with. I just came from seeing her. You can see you can't see it in the camera, but I left it on the visitor's pass, which has nothing on it, just a visitor's pass. But that was significant. Significant. That means I got to see my wife in a visitor pass that wasn't at the hospital. There it is. So we're happy. She was telling me how good she was doing. The coffee is not in the store, and the coffee will be in our Shopify store, Barry. Give us 2 weeks. Give or take a day or two. We're going to be hammering. Today is the 15th. We're halfway through the month. I need about a week to finish testing, making sure we have the right labels, which will go up. And hopefully by June 1st, the coffee will be available. You'll be seeing more about that. Much more. On that note, before we go to MAGA news, MAGA report, talk to the dear lady who built our website, the stuff that she's going to be adding. We are soon to embed a player there. We'll take a little bit more money. We'll go embed the player there. So hopefully, as we go live, it'll also be there playing on the website. And Patriot Mobile and all that will be there. On that note, Patriot Mobile, our sponsor, vendor, affiliate. I don't know what we call it. I talked to them today a couple of times. We're finalizing some information for banking. They have certain rules, and I was just making sure. So tomorrow, I'm going to finish setting that up. We're learning as we go. Some places let you do some things, others don't. So we're going to set that up tomorrow, hopefully. Get the information to them, and we good. We're good now. We just can't download any money. Not a lot of money there, but there is a little bit, and we're thankful for that. And Rob is switching over. He told me as soon as his month is up, he's switching his phone. He's actually going to pay a little more. What a patriot! He's got a really sweet little deal, small town, I guess. It's not much more, but he wants to pay that back into the podcast, and that's the way we feel about it. So thanks for everybody for their prayers and support. Let's talk MAGA. This is the MAGA report. By the way, I've had some thanks on the show. People tell me they really like it. I'm sure there are haters out there. I don't care. You can hate all you want. Hate all you want. By the way, there's the puppets Jake made for us. I added those into the background today. So we got a couple of new pictures as well. The president is he's went to the Arabian Peninsula, to Middle East. He's making grand tours throughout the region. And it's making a lot of news. I mean, a lot of news. The haters are out in force. We don't care about the haters. They're always going to find something. But even those people that are not Trump fans or even like Trump, President Trump, have said that he is stroking this trip, that he's thinking outside the box, that he's just getting things done. And even on the New York Post, there was an article that I just messed up, but we'll get it back, about how just the Trump has doing this trip, and that Joe Biden, former President Joe Biden, could not have ever pulled this off. Big admittance, he'll get crushed by the left for that statement. But many Democrats are saying it's a show-stopping Middle East trip. The welcoming committees have been massive. Diplomatic breakthroughs on some stuff. The release of the U.S.-Israeli hostage. Business deals of around $2 trillion. They can argue. They can talk about that plane all they want. I really don't care. The plane. I could see where it's good. I could see where it could. And with other people, that could be bad. But I knew they were going to attack him on it. That's the only thing. But he doesn't care. But he has $2 trillion in deals. And he's not even home yet. Biden couldn't negotiate, an ice cream cone. And the president is over there making amazing deals and laying the groundwork for some potential even bigger deals. As well as some future planes that he's mentioned, and we'll get to some other things he mentioned as well. But a senior, of course, it's sourcing, senior congressional Democratic aide told the Post, quote, "It's amazing what can be accomplished when the president isn't blanking brain dead." And that's the point. Even if you don't like Biden's policies, he couldn't get nothing done anyway. There's everybody else running the deal, but he couldn't negotiate. All he did was get up at the podium and talk loud, quiet. He mispronounced words all the time. They talk about President Trump and the way he talked. President Biden was completely inept, and Kamala was even worse at foreign diplomacy, at speaking to the issues. Just made no sense. He goes over there and he's got, they've got the horses, the camels rolled out, fancy cars, military. They rolled out the red carpet for President Trump. He goes on to say this whole Middle East trip shows that for a lot of negotiations, you do really need somebody who has the energy and level-headedness another high level a White House aide confided. And the images are amazing of the different places they went. He says, I'm the first person to say I do not agree with all of Trump's policies, especially some foreign policies. But when it comes to showing up and showing strength and power, I think his team and the president do a really great job of that. Trump left Washington Monday for Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. UAB. He wanted to, or UAE, excuse me. He wanted to make another stop on the peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia, but I don't think he's going to be able to make that stop. It's just not enough time. They said it won't happen. The White House did. So, in Riyadh, Tuesday, he announced an end to America's long-running economic sanctions on Syria. Controversial in some ways, yes, because you're dealing with a terror leader, but the guy's it's an olive branch. You know, play right with us, recognize Israel, leave them alone. This is all part of that deal, and we'll take the sanctions off, which would help them. Pretty big deal. Pretty big. We've not had a close relationship with Syria in one heck of a long time. He met with the interim president, Ahmad al-Shara, a former al-Qaeda terrorist, to insist he now values religious diversity. Well, we'll see. Is it just words that really mean it? I don't think he wants to cross the president, though. With Trump saying he wanted to give Syria, quote, a chance at greatness, end quote, in a speech in which he denounced the concept of permanent enemies. The highlights of President Trump's visits to the Middle East this week were many. He further had said in this speech that he even agreed privately to establish diplomatic relations, that the al-Shara privately agreed to establish, because you can't do that publicly over there, they'll kill you, or try to. Diplomatic relations with Israel one day after calling on Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords, recognizing Jewish state. If President, I've said, and I've been vocal, that I don't think the president, and we're going to get to another part of this, it's simply amazing. I thought it had kind of went to the weeds. It's not in the weeds. He's putting it right back up front. I've said it's dangerous. I still agree with that. It's a dangerous, dangerous thing. If anybody can do anything positive there, it's certainly him, because most of the time it's bungled and it ends up being a disaster. They've also recognized that Israel has been held in check lately. He's doing all this, and Israel's not, out trashing it or, trying to, change the momentum here. Very few can do that. Obama never had they hate Israel, never had a close relationship. Even if you don't like a country, it's smart to try to have some sort of a relationship with that country. Absolutely. He claimed Thursday that his tour just took in $4 trillion in business commitments, but the White House fact sheet described it over $2 trillion in new pledges and agreements to fast track other business. However, who knows? He may have another $2 trillion out there. They specified $600 billion in business deals with Saudi Arabia, $243.5 billion from Qatar, and $200 billion from UAE, with the most notable calling for Qatar Airways, we talked about, and UAE's Etihad Airways to spend more than $110 billion on 238 American-made Boeing aircraft. There's some jobs remaining working overtime. So they want the Boeings. They're coming out 238 of them. Amazing deal. There's always that challenge to keep the Lockheeds and the Boeings and all them working from California to Georgia, those plants. And there's military. I know Lockheed does a lot of the military. Well, there's a lot of military stuff in the box. They believe that the aides believe that there's no way that he would have agreed to this deal with Syria or a ceasefire with the Houthis without including Israel. I'm sure you're going to talk to your ally there. Now, they did go on to say they believe that a younger Biden, who was chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I doubt this. His temper, I doubt it, could have done that, who served the entirety of Biden's 4-year term. I don't know if an older Joe Biden could have the stamina and negotiating sense to do that at that level. I don't think he does it as a younger. He's always talked lunacy. Hello, Miss Jenneth. God bless you. You've had some big stuff going on. Been keeping up through the Facebook. I know you're happy and excited and thrilled, and you should be. Graduations and everything else that you've been doing. They said that Trump had commanded respect across the Middle East, landing and having all these camels doing that big motorcade where you had the red Tesla trucks. All the Middle East really showed a deference to him, and they were trying to woo him. And whether that's really for his personal optics or the United States of America, that's to be determined. Well, they know where their bread is buttered. They got a lot of money, but they know America is important to things they need. They need peace too. They don't want war. These are the more moderate countries. They've got some issues, sure, but the UAE, the Qatar, they need help with their crazy cousin neighbors or whatever you want to call them, because they're radical and they need help with that. And so they're looking to America, and of course they love the Western things, absolutely. The aide went on to say, I'm not sure that they would have done the same kind of pomp and circumstance for Joe Biden. Well, no, they wouldn't. They half the time they didn't even have any kind of they a couple of podiums. They show up, they didn't even let Joe Biden talk. They would sit in the chair. Remember that? Reporters would come in after like 20 seconds. They'd order them out, almost like drag them out. The photographers and reporters. Remember the aides coming up. This meeting is over. Get out. Get out. You could hear them just pushing them and shoving them, tell them to get out. President Trump sits there and talks to them. I did think it was funny how people noticed that he wouldn't drink the drink that they brought him. Kind of smart. You don't know what. You got to be careful. Trump's thinking, nah, I'm not going there. I got my own people. No disrespect intended, but I'm like that. I got to know where that's coming from. You bring me a cup of something, I don't know what it is. Okay, I'll just sit here and hold it. I don't know what it is. Somebody says, I got something I want you to try. Okay. Still there when I leave. I got to see where it's coming out of. He went on to say that Trump has the ability to do things politically that previous presidents did not, because he has complete, and this is important, and I agree with this statement. Pardon me. I agree with it to a point because I still think there's a lot of snakes around him, but right now, they know they will get crushed. We're going to talk about a snake in a minute. Got to watch my time. I don't run out of time. I got too much tonight. But I want to get these stops, and I want to talk about a couple things at home and a couple of snakes. Certainly one. But he said that he has the complete unquestioned authority over the Republican caucus. That's true. They're not going to oppose him. So he don't have to worry about soft soap and everything to keep people appeased back home in the Republican Party. No, he's got control. And that's big. Biden never had that, even the Democrats, because we know he wasn't in control. Other presidents have walked the tightrope, not President Trump. He goes on to say, it's hard not to be simultaneously terrified at the thought of the damage he can cause with such power, and awed by his willingness to brazenly shatter so many harmful taboos. Those same Biden staffers can save their alligator tears after covering up his cognitive decline. Absolutely. And pushing their woke progressive bulls, the cost bulls, we know what's after that, the cost that cost us the election, snapped the Democratic Hill staffer, who believes Biden also set up Democrats for failure last year by clinging to his bid for re-election, then crowning then Vice President Kamala Harris as his replacement atop the party's ticket. The former White House official, meanwhile, said that the differences in foreign policy between Trump and Biden speak to different power dynamics in the respective administrations. Although Tapper and Thompson reported that cabinet secretaries lacked regular access to Biden, that's another thing people don't talk about. They couldn't even get in to see the guy. His own staff, his own administration, a lot of times were kept away from him. It reminds me of the movie, right? Dave, where they got the real president on a gurney. They've got the replacement in there. There are people that thought this Biden was replaced. One secretary said that they definitely always had access, or that one secretary that always had access was, not surprised, Secretary of State Blinken. I can't stand that guy either. He can take his guitar and I'm not going to finish it. I don't care what he plays on the guitar. The guy was a loser. But amazing pictures. You could see there was it wasn't a strained meeting by any means. You could see that they were certainly interested in what he had to say, and that he held court. There's no doubt about it. Trump creates a lot of chum, but so far he hasn't created any better outcomes. One argue Trump threw Ukraine under the bus to end the Russian invasion, but Russia's still bombing it indiscriminately, and Ukraine has less leverage than ever before. Like I said, the haters are out there. And true, he hasn't solved that yet. Fair assessment there on that. I would agree with that. But it's the end of the story is not written. I think that there's still time for that to come to fruition. I really do. But it's going to take a direct. There was articles today that said it would take a direct sit down between the three of them, and that's probably true. I wouldn't disagree with that whatsoever. In fact, Marco Rubio was the one that said that. Trump Putin meeting only path to peace. Because Zelensky won't be the problem, because they'll just push him to the side. He doesn't have the power to do other. Putin does, but they've got to have that. And Trump is an amazing negotiator. His presence alone. Now there'll be some grandstanding by Putin, sure, but if Trump gave him a way to flex a little bit, and he could come out of this thing looking good, somewhat, he would probably make a deal, probably. So the Middle East tour is a success. This was not the apology tour that Obama went on. Remember that tour around the world? This was the Trump going around the world, making deals, putting them on notice, all friendly, lining up support against Iran. Maybe he believes he has a diplomatic answer to the nuclear weapon question for Iran, and we'll see. Another big thing that came out, he made mention of Gaza again. And this whole idea of what he calls a freedom zone. This is absolutely an amazing, and I'm not speaking for or against at this point, it's just simply news. It is absolutely the most amazing thing I've ever heard an American president say about Gaza, ever, in my lifetime. And probably in the history of the United States, because, what was happening in that region before 1948. But you go forward from there, which we just passed the May 14th yesterday. It's amazing. He called that a territory of death and destruction for many. While he was in Qatar, he says, "I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone." Now, this is amazing. I say caution, Mr. President, caution. But he's the man. He is the commander-in-chief. It is worrisome to me, because the next statement makes me, There's only one guy I could think even come close to doing this. If this was Bill Clinton saying it, or Obama, or Biden, I'm building the bunker. Honestly. He says, let the United States get involved and make it just a freedom zone. Quote, I'd be proud to have the United States have it, take it, and make it a freedom zone. Let some good things happen. Boy, that just sends a shiver up your spine when you think of all the hell that has been made because of Gaza. All the terror. all the camps, the money that's been poured into that region, the UN resolutions, the death, destruction, the pain and misery, the supposed peace deals between quote unquote the Palestinians leadership, the PLO, and Israel, from Clinton to the Bushes to secretaries of state to even former generals. Remember the famous scene of Arafat and his bombed out little, home, tanks surrounding him. Not too long before he died. That's crazy. Not it would be great to have peace there, right? He goes on to say, put people in homes where they can be safe, and Hamas is going to have to be dealt with. Not we should, going to have to be. So this gives credence to the reports that came out that Israel's fixing to just completely crush Hamas. And that is the United States way. That's Trump's way of saying, President Trump, okay, here's what I want out of the deal. This is what you got to do, but you got our blessing. We'll play the big brother role here and let you have at it. They've already talked about moving the people to another zone. This is going to be such a dicey proposition. Crush Hamas, level the place, rebuild, and then reoccupy with those that they feel could be peaceful there. It's going to have a military force in there to keep Hamas and Hezbollah and others out. But he is dead set to do it. He had already talked about this. During an early February meeting with the White House with Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, Trump proposed the U.S. take over Gaza and permanently resettle the Palestinian residents. We covered this. At the time, Trump detailed a plan to build a new settlements for Palestinians outside the Gaza Strip and for the U.S. to take ownership in redeveloping the war-torn territory into the Riviera of the Middle East. A few days later, Trump said he was committed to buying and owning Gaza, but could allow sections of the land to be rebuilt by other states in the Middle East. Could this be the promises that he has? He says $4 trillion. They say, it's $2 trillion in deals. Maybe $2 trillion is money that's going to be poured into Gaza. You have to read between the lines on this stuff. In late February, Trump shared an AI-generated video on Truth Social depicting his vision for Gaza's future. The video contrasted the Masrur coastal enclave's current war-torn state with its proposed transformation into a luxury vacation hotspot. Trump's latest comments come during a roundtable in Qatar, which has played host to periodic ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas. So far, negotiations have been at a stalemate. Saudi Arabia has flatly rejected Trump's Gaza plan, as have many world leaders. It was reported that Jordan's King Abdullah intended to tell Trump during a planned February 11th meeting in Washington that the proposal is ripe for radicalism that will spread chaos through the Middle East and jeopardize the kingdom's peace with Israel. Like I said, if anybody could do it, it's him. But it's absolutely filled with danger. A lot of danger. In the midst of all this, Robert Kennedy Jr. has been very busy. We're not going to say the word because we'll get struck on one of the channels, but you'll get the gist of it. But the latest news is Health and Human Services (HHS) is going to stop advising the for kids and pregnant women, and the is what we all know has been presented out there. So they're going to stop that recommendation in the coming days, a formal announcement is expected, according to this report that was released today, or the announcement about the forthcoming announcement. The current CDC guidelines call for everyone over the age of 6 months to be, It's not clear if new CDC guidelines will call for the end of, So we'll see. But a lot of people will like that. In fact, I like that. So lots of things going on with that. President Trump talked to the troops while he was there. And he touted what he calls the Golden Dome. Remember, Israel has the Iron Dome to protect them from rockets and incoming drones, different kind of aerial vehicles, especially all those little rockets have been shot in from Gaza and Lebanon and a couple other places, Iran. They didn't get there. If they did, they fell into a field. Most of them were blown out of the sky. He says these will be built in the United States. I like this. America first, baby. He spoke to the U.S. troops at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar on Thursday during his trip to the Middle East. He signed an order. He said he has signed an order to build the nation's Golden Dome missile defense shield and promised that all components will be made in the United States. Good for him. Good for him. Let's let American workers build those. Let's keep all that at home. He said it was called the Iron Dome, but I changed it to the Golden Dome to applause from the troops. I thought it was a little more beautiful. It was more modern. We're going to have it. It is amazing what they can do. The project, he said, will cost many billions of dollars, all made in the USA. The days of making parts all over the world because we have wonderful partners. No, it is America first. Yes. This global supply chain does not work for us. It doesn't. And the reason is because of disruptions to that through terrorism, failures, whatever, political reasons. It doesn't work. People get worried they're not going to be able to get the goods and services. And many companies are now switching over and getting their parts from other places, their restocks, including places like Temu, who, obviously was getting a lot of that from China. They have made it, they realized, well, we'll go out of business if we don't do something. So they've made a shift and kept in business. It can be done. He says, by the way, America first, but we're going to take care of other countries. We're going to have plenty left over. Earlier this week, reports indicate that Trump is considering appointing a Golden Dome czar for the project. I can just see the left just having so many ugly things to say about this, but who cares? A proposed missile defense shield that would fully protect the continental United States would be similar to Israel's Iron Dome system. He has talked about this from the very beginning. Speaking of China, they have could have as many as 700 nuclear-tipped ICBMs by 2035. They currently have 400. Oh, they've already got 400. They're still building. Iran's capabilities could climb to 60 by 2035, up from none now, and Russia's could grow from 350 to 400, the information added. They had a chart that they were showing it with, and they showed a fractional orbital bombardment system, or FOBS, FOBS, which would allow China to attack through shorter flight times and release payloads before it completes a full orbit. The agency said China could have 60 of the weapons by 2035, where it has none now, and Russia's numbers could grow from 0 to 12. Remember, the threat has always been the shutdown of all electronics and stuff as a preparatory to all the other releases. Our electrical grid and stuff like that is not ready for that. There's lots of things that need to be changed over, and it's going to cost a lot of money. Not only the threat from those, but threats from the sun as well. A massive a massive uh, magnetic storm, which has happened, and they say it's not a question of when or if, but when it will happen again. Back in the 1800s, amazing story. Go read about that. They said that congressional Republicans said they plan to introduce a $150 billion defense package, including an initial $27 billion boost to the Golden Dome missile system. The money would include funds to build more missile interceptors and to purchase Lockheed Martin Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, called THAAD for short, anti-ballistic missile batteries. So it'll be another push towards Lockheed, which is right here in Georgia where I'm at. Elon Musk, SpaceX, and two partners are frontrunners for technology that would track incoming missiles as part of the SHIELD program, according to Reuters. So this is some more of what he was talking about out there. So absolutely. Let me take just a quick break, and I will be right back. Won't be long, I promise. And we will continue the discussion for a few more minutes. Thanks for being here. Let me find where is my little? There we go. And we're back. Now let's talk about a snake. Ex-FBI Chief Comey has been condemned for something that he posted on social media that could be interpreted as a hit on the president. It's been condemned by the White House as an attempt to put that hit on the president. The Secret Service is investigating after ex-FBI Director James Comey, oh, that's that loser, the loser that he is, who posted an Instagram photo of seashells arranged to make the numbers 8647, which could be interpreted. Sorry, Barry. I hope that they find that person. I hate it messed up your stream, but I get it when that happens. When you're using your phone, I get it. Sorry about that. A message that the White House swiftly condemned in an attempt to put out as an attempt to put out a hit on the 47th president. Comey later deleted the post after online backlash from government officials, lawmakers, and the president's son. Trump has faced those attempts on his life, as we know. And this was just absolutely, whatever's in your heart, bro, you are stupid for putting that out there, and you deserve anything you get. The post included the alleged hit, showed the numbers in question etched into the sand at the beach using seashells. Cool shell formation on my beach walk, Comey captioned the Thursday post. While to some people the numbers may appear innocuous, 86 is frequently used as a call sign for murdering or getting rid of someone. 47 has been interpreted as denoting the 47th President of the United States. Following backlash on social media, including at least one lawmaker who called for Comey to be arrested, the ex-FBI chief deleted the post, shared to his Instagram, and put up a message addressing it. Quote, I posted an earlier picture of some seashells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. The subsequent post from Comey read, I didn't realize some folks associated those numbers with violence. Oh, come on, dude. You're stupid, but you're not that stupid. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind. Of course, you're saying that now as you're being investigated. So I took the post down. Shortly after Comey removed the post, Fox News Digital learned that from a source in the Secret Service they were aware of the matter and will be sending agents to investigate and interview former Director Comey. Oh, could we just see a perp walk? Oh, that would be sweet. I'd at least like to see him being put in the back of the car, being rode in for questioning. I mean, just lunacy. This is the left. This is the way that they operate. They call for violence. They always say they're about peace and nonviolence. But every time you turn around, they're talking about violence, either through images, things they say, direct or indirectly. Laughter at certain things. They absolutely talk in code words about violence. These people are sick. They're absolutely sick. He does, like I said, he deserves everything he gets. This guy has always been sleazy, my opinion. Dave in the AM, he's been sleazy. But you have to be some kind of stupid, Mr. Sleaze, to say something like that about President of the United States. Can you imagine if someone had did that to former President Joe Biden? Can you imagine the jackboots that would have come in to hit their house in the middle of the night, dragging the kids and the wife out in their underwear, putting them on the ground with guns to the back of their head as they pulled out the offender to take him away to federal prison? Unbelievable. I just cannot. Excuse me. I just cannot. It just shows how much of a loser and how much hate they have in their heart. They can't help themselves. They absolutely can't help themselves. They think it's the funniest thing. If it happened, God forbid, they would be cheering, jumping up and down, drinking champagne. They would be. I mean, they're that stupid. Yes, Tarman, millions know what that means. He knows what it means too. And he's trying to act like he just walked by. You, sir, are a jackleg. In fact, you will be in the next jackleg next week when we do the Cornbread Nation. There's no way he didn't know what that was. And we know he put it together. We know he did. He didn't just go on his walk and go, somebody had that dinner and he goes, oh, check this out. Nice image on my walk. Dude, you absolutely did that. And you absolutely cherished it. You were laughing while you posted it. You probably contacted people and said, hey, check out my Instagram. You know you did. Y'all were all laughing until the Secret Service got involved. Oh, man, it's just, even if you are that guy, why would you do yourself that way? This is absolute. I mean, you just keep your mouth shut. That's just unbelievable. Top Trump aide, Dan Scavino, he called him out. He called it a plea to bad actors and terrorists to do that hit on POTUS while traveling internationally. Yeah, think of the timing of this, where he's at. Of course, I'm going to tell you, they would unleash all kinds of things. I mean, the firepower that they're carrying with them, they're not going to. But still, you are in their country, and you do use certainly some of their military and police and stuff to keep people back. Thank you, Tar Man. Thank you for the prayers. She is in the rehab now, resting. I don't know if she's watching. I did tell her I would be live in a few minutes right before. So if she's watching, she may be resting. Shout out to her. She's wanting to try some of the coffee. This may be in this cup with my visitor pass from the rehab. I'm celebrating that visitor pass. We are tasting potentially the new coffee of the Southern Fried podcast, Southern Fried Cornbread Nation. This is the second blend that I have tried, and it is very, very good. I wouldn't blow smoke. Scavino, who's traveling with Trump, posted on X Thursday, Comey truly is a POS. While he'll claim to not know what 8647 means, there's no doubt that the former disgraced FBI director knows exactly what he's doing. Call him out, bro. With a plea to bad actors and terrorists to assassinate POTUS while traveling internationally. Don't let him get away with it. Amazing. Amazing. It really is a victory tour. And they hate that. They hate him, and they absolutely hate that he's able to do this. That he's able to go around the world in that region and make those kind of deals. They can't stand it. They're butthurt. They're out of power. They've been blasted for what they truly are, and now they just prove it. Well, I hope he does. I hope he does. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of conservatives who would be cheering in the streets to see this because we are frustrated. Conservatives are frustrated. There's not been perp walks, very little. There's been a person here or there, but there's a lot of people that need to be indicted and charged and dealt with. Yes, they have, Tarman. They hate to admit that, but he has done well. Last bit of news for tonight. President Trump is reframing, reforming, redoing, rebuilding FEMA. He calls it FEMA 2. I think they're kind of, it sounds to me like, and I'm not taking any kind of credit, it sounds to me like, though, what I suggested months ago is actually a big part of it. Now, what they said was the model was going to be 50-50, meaning the state would take care of 50, the federal government would take care of 50. We're at 75-25 now, federal government 75, state 25. But in doing that, there would be more opportunities if things, really off the chain. They would do some stuff. But that they expect the state to step up. Who wants to do that stuff? But what they said is they would be prepared. What I think what this means is what I suggested, which if it's this way, it would truly be some preparedness and possibilities in every state. But where disasters usually strike are coastlines and possibly, earthquakes, hurricanes, whatever, tornadoes even. There would probably be some stuff that they would house within those states so they could respond swiftly. Having what's going on, bro? What they would have some things that they could respond quickly, even who knows, building materials or whatever. We don't know that, but that they'd have the equipment, and the state knows they know their people better than the federal government, and that they could respond quickly and get these things taken care of. So it sounds a little bit like to me that's what they're talking about. They should be rolling this out pretty quick. And I applaud it because I think the local authorities have been slapped to the side too many times. The feds have rolled in and they monkey it up. They certainly sometimes have made it worse. And the locals are, trying to scramble and do what they can do with what they have. I think that it is a model that can work. What we've had has not worked. It certainly didn't work in North Carolina. And it's bad. I mean, but when you get the resources there and they can get busy right away, amazing things can happen. I mean, by gosh, we're America. We built some of the greatest things that has been put on the face of the planet. We can do those things if we're not hamstrung by regulation in emergencies like that. Get busy, have a plan, have meetings, have training, have the resources situated in those areas where certainly like Florida, California, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, places that are on the borders where these hurricanes come in and hit, or places where there's heavy rain and it floods, or Tornado Alley, just giving examples, earthquakes, and have them be able to respond to their situation with still having support from the federal government. I think it's a better model. I said then, what we have doesn't work. So I applaud the president for saying that. And he says he's going to move forward with it. It's definitely going to happen. So it's not an if, it's just a when they're going to kick it and play and get it going. And I applaud that. Again, let the haters hate. If something he can make better, I know we like the president. There's some we don't. But, don't hate so much you just spot yourself. Because that's going to help no matter who the person is in that state. When you're in a flood, flooded, or everything's been knocked down by a hurricane or tornadoes or whatever, they didn't just go along and pick out certain people. No, it obliterates all. And you got to come together as a people, as a community, as a state, and yes, as the government support to make sure that there's the help there. So, yes, they're Barry. They're definitely folks that are in, and Georgia's probably one of the better states for that. They really, Florida as well. But I think that they're a little more able to handle it. Some states don't have the resources or the money, and they would be more set up to do that now. Georgia has run a surplus financially and stuff. They've put away for the rainy day. Florida as well. Business is good, and things are clicking along. So I think it would be just beneficial. And I know someone who sits on. He's an excellent gentleman, former fireman, worked in safety all his life. He sits on these emergency boards for Georgia and Alabama, and he goes to disaster preparedness and this all the time. And there's a lot of work going on. That's why I say they are ready to do it. They just need to get out of the way and let these states do it and give them. Yeah, they'll have to offer up a little more money, sure, but maybe they let them keep some back. There's a way to fund it, and I think they have the resources. Those states certainly do. Texas does. They have the money to do that. So I'm out of time. I'd love to go over. There's a couple of stories I want to get to. Join us tomorrow night for the MAGA report after Front Porch Talking. Almost went blank there. My brain's still foggy. Pray for Rob. He's been sick. Everybody have a great night. I don't think I'll get home in time to go back on, but I did put out a schedule day, and you never know about pop-up shows. But I'll probably rest because I do have to go to work, and I'm going to be there for an hour and a half or so. It's a little late. I've got a big Friday. So if nothing else, I'll see you in the morning at 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. 6 p.m. for the sports. 6 a.m. for the morning show. 6 p.m. for the sports show. 8 p.m. for Front Porch Talking. And yes, I'm MAGA Minute. So we're already doing a lot of recording. Lots of things to do in the middle of that. And so we'll see you then. I've got to get to work. I got a deadline to meet. So we're going out with some music. And y'all have a great night. We'll figure out this Rumble Studio thing. I don't think I ever got it fixed. And I've got to figure that out. Why did that do that? So I'll fix it. Trial and error, baby. That's the way it goes. Thanks for everybody coming in the chat. Y'all have a great evening. And we love you guys and gals very, very much across all the streams. Take care and God bless.